All right, welcome to another wonderful week of Power 10 Sports Talk. This week it is your host, Andrew Gibb, and joining me this week is our host of our new upcoming show, Flagrant Fouls, Brady Gibb, our host of our upcoming show, Mass Debaters, John Sacco, and our special guest this week. He is a junior at Dover High School. He is first team East District in football, honorable mention All Ohio in football. He has another year until he is going to be going to college. Let's hope numbers go up and he gets some of them good offers, get some of that free money. Ryan McVicker.
Yes, sir.
Always our courtesy applause.
All right.
All right. Let's get right into it with the news. We found out Deshaun Watson is wanting to go to the Jets, and the Houston GM made a statement Thursday saying we do not plan on trading Deshaun at all. Who is the dumber person in this situation? Deshaun for wanting to go to the Jets, or the GM for being like, oh yeah, we're just going to get nothing out of you whenever you leave?
Now, I don't know about this. Houston GM, I think we all said was our worst team, our worst managed, most disappointing, whatever we want to say last week. But I don't know if Deshaun's even in the wrong. We all said that the Jets' new head coach is up there. One, if not two.
But I think that currently you're dealing with a situation where you kind of need some more building blocks in place before you want to bring in a franchise QB. It's much like Joe Burrow. You have a guy that's really good and has a high ceiling, but he got hurt so early that the season was just a wash, and you have to hope that this injury isn't serious enough that it actually hinders his play.
But when you have the opportunity to get your QB, you get your QB. That's what the Bengals did. They knew they didn't have those pieces. But if they passed on Burrow because they didn't have those pieces, they'd miss out for the 15, 20 years he may play quarterback.
Yeah, or they would have missed out for a year. Would have sucked again and gotten Trevor Lawrence this year.
I don't know about that. The Jaguars were pretty bad.
I mean, so were the Jets, but the Jets still managed to blow it. But so where do y'all think he's going to end up? Personally, in my opinion, I don't see Houston giving him up to Indy, but Indy is my favorite spot for him. They're a QB away from being Super Bowl contenders. I think Deshaun knows that, and it's also the opportunity where you get to beat the team that disrespected you for how many years, twice a year. So I'm going to go with Houston sending him to Indy.
I did like the point of Stafford to Detroit.
Stafford to Indy?
Or Stafford to Indy. Detroit? Yep, and Deshaun to Detroit.
Ooh, that would be pretty good.
I like that idea.
Did Aaron bring that up last week?
I don't think he did.
I sat on it for a week, but
no, I don't think anyone brought it up.
I like the idea. I just think that it's just, I don't know how many years he's got left. And the fact that he stayed in Detroit for this long, he hasn't complained once. He might just be a really humble guy, but at the same time, if he's really that happy of losing 12 games a year, then just let him stay there and focus on other options, because it's not like this is the only QB in the market, I guess.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. And I think that it does come down to maybe you saw Harden leave a team that wasn't doing as well as what they're supposed to be doing, and just kind of like, all right, as long as I disrespect the organization enough, maybe pack on a couple pounds in the off season, start skipping practices early at like OTAs and all that, and just tank your trade value, make sure they can get as little out of you as possible, but they know they don't want to keep you.
Here's a trade idea.
That's what he's going for.
How about to Denver for Drew Lock? Drew Lock is probably one of the younger QBs that people are high on. You get a young quarterback back, and you send out Deshaun to a good situation where you have pieces like Jerry Jeudy, and you have Phillip Lindsay in the backfield. You don't have an awful offensive line, but they need a quarterback.
And even Melvin Gordon as well.
Yeah, you do Melvin Gordon. It is an offense that is very stacked, and I think it could be Drew Lock is the problem. It could be maybe he is nothing we have seen previously. John Elway isn't good at drafting quarterbacks. It's just something that I think he struggled with. Luckily, he is out of the front office. He's no longer a GM. He's just a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they will do that. I don't know. Brady, what are your thoughts?
Who?
Brady.
Bongos?
Oh, where do you think Deshaun's going to end up?
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of hard. He goes to the
Panthers would be a good one.
Panthers.
I think
That's
the
one I wouldn't
Panthers
even
want to
thought
build
of.
in the drafts, but
Yeah, I would think build in the draft because you have such a high pick.
I think any team would be crazy not to at least kick the tires, and that includes the contenders this year. Just kick the tires, see what would happen if you threw out. I mean, maybe not Kansas City.
I think Kansas City,
even Green Bay, even Tampa Bay.
I think
because
Kansas
do you
City,
trust Jordan Love in your as your number 2?
I
if
mean,
you're Green Bay right now.
Maybe. I guess it's one of those situations that's a lot like Aaron Rodgers where you got him young when Favre was still there. So maybe it's build up this guy and know that whenever Rodgers retires, you already have his replacement set up, ready to go.
And that gave Rodgers like all the pressure on him. It's like, hey, we just drafted another quarterback. So he took it as like practically an insult and said, okay, I'm going to show you guys that.
I'm sure that was the fuel behind his MVP campaign, but I'm not saying that it would be a great fit or he should go there. I'd like to see it happen, but I'm just saying every team should at least look somewhat into it.
I think
Steve, what would it take?
A few teams that are probably in a situation where they go, no, we're good. We don't need to. I think Seattle, Kansas City, Buffalo are probably 4 teams where you still have a young enough quarterback that you're set for a next while, and you know that he has the ability to perform at a high level.
See, I think Deshaun, hot take, I think he's better than Russell Wilson.
After this year, I would agree with you on that, but based off of just the history that we've seen, this could just be a hiccup year.
But I understand you don't make a big trade just to break even in terms of talent or even a marginal upgrade. Yeah,
those are the only teams I would say 100% off the market. I think a lot of other teams, the quarterback's too young and you can't decide yet. Somebody like Cleveland or Arizona or Baltimore, I think it's too soon to be like, all right, we're moving on from Baker, Lamar, Kyler Murray. But it's definitely on the table at least. Like they're going to kick the tires. They're going to kind of, all right, well, if we do it, what all do we lose?
Yeah. Well, did everyone see the proposed Browns trade? Not official. It was just some guy on Twitter. He said Baker, Odell, and 3 firsts.
That is too much.
Way too much.
That is too much.
That's a lot.
If you're going to give Baker and Odell, I would say maybe 1 first and maybe a second. But no way.
It was a first. It was 3 picks. I don't remember.
Yeah, if you're talking 3 first picks, your quarterback and a star receiver, that is too much. And I don't think Houston has enough else to give up to even that out, unless you're also going to give up J.J. Watt.
See, I don't know if I want J.J. Watt. Yeah. He's kind of washed. He's kind of floating by on reputation like Clay Matthews was his last couple of years. He's still good. Yeah. Even a 20% J.J. Watt's still very good.
Yeah. And I think it is one. He is a top 10 defensive end of all time. It's tough to argue against that. Whenever he was healthy, he was a killer.
But currently and next year, I don't know if he's worth firsts. But who knows? It's Houston. They've traded stars for seconds in the past.
Exactly. All right. Next bit of news we got: Ron Rivera is cancer-free, so that's something to be excited about. Posted a picture with his dogs, kind of ringing the bell. I'm cancer-free. And what a way to kind of cap off your first year with Washington. You start off, I have cancer. Oh, you're playing for the Washington football team that no longer has a name. The expectations are really low. You're supposed to just kind of suck. And you make it to the playoffs and made a pretty good case against Tom Brady with a backup QB.
Yeah, with Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, Taylor Heineke kind of proved something there. I think a lot of these guys, it's a young core that has a lot of potential in the future. It wasn't a winning season, but you beat cancer and you made it to the playoffs. That's a top 10 season.
That's a win in my book.
Just as a coach. I think everyone respects you after that.
Coming out of a program that only had I don't know how long he was at North Carolina, but really the only notable year was his 2015 season. He lost in the Super Bowl, then comes back and comes to a team that's practically nothing, almost. The only good people you got Alex Smith, who's half broken.
Yeah, who should be able to walk.
Yeah, you got Chase Young, who is coming out of the gate with a lot of ambition, which is nothing wrong with that, but you don't know exactly what to expect. In his last few games in college, we actually played good people. Everybody locked him up. So
Yeah.
you don't exactly know what to expect. And then he came in and made it to the playoffs and had a solid record and made a good fight against the greatest quarterback of all time. So
Yeah, it is something I think Washington does have a very good future with Ron Rivera. I'm wishing him
I
nothing
think
but
so
the best.
too. Yes.
Yeah.
He always has a soft spot. I think he got done so dirty by Panthers GM and management, and he should still be the coach in Carolina. Honestly, he's
he's better off in Washington.
100%. He's in a great situation there, but it just hurts to see him doing well. Not for the Panthers, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bittersweet.
All right, next bit of news. Pepsi, Budweiser, and Audi are so far the only companies that have announced no Super Bowl ad this year. They're just going to donate directly to COVID relief. Pepsi still is sponsoring the halftime show at the weekend, but it is weird that we won't be seeing the Clydesdale horses. We won't be seeing a puppy commercial. We won't see some commercial somehow relating to the Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Like these commercials we don't get. I think we still get Doritos and a couple other ones. They're going to be good. But this could be one where we see like the Jones barbecue and foot massage because these big companies are deciding not to. So you're just getting the little dogs like, oh, wait, we get a Super Bowl ad? Quick, go in.
I mean, yeah, I think that's great. There's a lot of people that watch it only for the ads, but if it's a year of less quality ads, I don't care. I mean, I watch the game personally, but
yeah, it is one. I think we'll still see good ads, and
I'm sure we'll still.
It is something from a PR perspective that is the best thing you could have done because this created way more attention than any 30-second, minute-long ad would have, and it makes your company look better because of it. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts.
I mean, they make bank off of that crap, and if the NFL's got to go out and say, "Hey, give me an ad," there's going to be people throwing themselves over to get it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have less people at the game. So obviously the game's probably going to be like less exciting. A lot of people are tired of Tom Brady, and I'm sure even a lot of people are tired of Patrick Mahomes. But you're still going to get a bunch of people that are going to watch it, and you're going to have a bunch of companies throwing themselves just to get even 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So
you'll still get asses in the seat from Kansas City fans and Tampa Bay fans. So that's something that I don't think is going to be a huge issue. I did see on Facebook somebody posted a picture from SeatGeek that some of the tickets were $20,000, and it wasn't even like they were like the best seats. They were kind of mid-range, something that in a regular season you'd probably pay $200, $300 for. $20,000.
That's how Super Bowl tickets always are, really.
But especially with having less fans in the seats, that each seat now
they're
is worth
allowing
more.
like 22
as a premium
or 23,000
fans, and 7,000 of them are healthcare workers that are given free tickets.
Yeah, that's also why they're so expensive. They got to probably compensate for
less seats.
And they know it's a Super Bowl. There's a limited amount of space. People that actually care about it, they don't care how much it costs. They're going to be there, so they're still making probably the same amount of money.
Yeah. Next bit of news we got: John Dorsey signed to be the new Lions GM. He's previously been with Kansas City, previously been with the Browns, now he's with the Lions. Are the Lions the next big thing because of this?
This is why I said Deshaun to Detroit. I like the idea, but I don't think it will happen because Dorsey, he prefers to build through the draft. I think the Lions might spend next year trying to get some picks, then they draft their guy. You look back, I mean, he's the one who pulled the trigger on Baker Mayfield. He pulled the trigger on Patrick Mahomes. He pulled the trigger way back on Aaron Rodgers.
I didn't know he was one of the people involved with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep, he was in Green Bay. Now, he finds his quarterback and he builds around them. He is a great...
Oh.
Sorry, I got a phone call. He's a great NFL program builder.
Yeah, that is something that's absolutely true. I mean, even some of the talent that people don't like, Tyreek Hill, was Kelsey taken by Dorsey, or was he?
Believe so.
Travis Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett. You're talking a ton of players that have become all-stars, all taken by this guy. Detroit could be the next big thing, or it could just be Detroit is cursed. No matter what Dorsey does, the team's going to be bad.
I feel like the fact of like you can't just say like all the players he drafted. Oh, it's a coincidence for how many players he's drafted, how well they're all doing, in what direction they're going. I think he's going to do something. I honestly just don't know how much because it's Detroit. But at the same time, like I don't know how old or young their team is, but like I think like especially in like for example the Texans situation, I think you just need to start fresh, get a bunch of picks, and move on from there because they don't cost a whole lot. You can get some breakouts, you can get some busts, and you move on from there. And then as the season goes on, you say, okay, these rookies fill these positions. What else are we missing? And then you can determine whether to just leave it as like a okay year, just go along the path, or you're like, we can go somewhere with this, and you can go on from there. Because with the Lions, you really can't get any worse.
Yeah, that is the one advantage of being the Lions. You can't get any worse. You've already 0-16 campaign in the last 10 years.
10 years, yep.
You at least have a Thanksgiving game. That's about it.
You're gifted a Thanksgiving game that you blow every year.
Two things I think are interesting. Every 30 years, Detroit makes the playoffs. And every 30 years going back, they have made the playoffs, and only in those years. Surprising.
Is it like the 27-year thing with the Bills?
Yep.
Huh.
Now, Dorsey, it would be interesting to see if he can stick around. Nowhere has he stuck around through a program's complete build. He got canned in Cleveland after he hired Kitchens over better qualified candidates, and he got canned in Kansas City after some questionable decisions. But he sticks around, he builds a program, and it outgrows him. Let's see if that cycle continues in Detroit or not.
That's absolutely possible. In our last bit of news today, this is slightly older with how it starts, but we didn't get to talk about it on the show last week. Shaq tells Donovan Mitchell, you don't have what it takes to reach the next level, which seems really disrespectful for someone like Shaquille O'Neal, who doesn't need to say controversial things like this to make headlines.
Shaq's always been a hater. He hates on anyone. That's kind of his thing.
But it was one of those ones where like you kind of heard it and you're like, why would you say something like that to a young player that does have a ton of potential?
Yeah, it was a post-game interview after a win, and I think it was very random, out of place. It's just Shaq wanting to cause some controversy or get a reaction. And I love Donovan Mitchell's reaction where he's like, okay.
Yeah, he's like, okay, watch me. And I think that since that's happened on like an 11
he did not care. He did not get a reaction. He did not care what Shaq had to say. I think that's very surprising.
But then the Twitterverse went wild the next day when Donovan Mitchell said that he likes his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches 100% jelly, 0% peanut butter.
I don't think it's as weird as you think it is.
Shaq was right. I think you gotta have something. Like I've had.
You don't have to.
Just jelly,
I'd rather have a just jelly sandwich than a just peanut butter sandwich.
See, that's where you're wrong.
Something to wash that down. That's gonna stick through. That's dry.
It's just a peanut butter sandwich. It's like eating sand.
But you definitely done it a lot.
Biscuits, you need a drink to wash that down. If not, you're down bad.
That is a very good point. But
that's a struggle meal.
That's something like for soccer. Every time we had a game, peanut butter sandwiches and a bunch of chocolate milk. So I was like, oh no, peanut butter sandwich is totally normal. Brady is in the house normally eating just peanut butter on the sandwich, no jelly. Jelly is never part of the equation.
Y'all are not eating the right jelly. I mean, they make other flavors than grape, right?
Oh, strawberry, yeah. Strawberry's
elite jelly.
But I still think you got to have something. Like it goes together. There's a reason it's peanut butter and jelly.
You need some of that fruity sweetness.
Yeah, the sweetness to go with the salt. And I feel like you couldn't do all sweet. That's where I think you could go all salt.
I mean, you could. I'd rather have all sweet than all savory, salty peanut butter.
I think it's also maybe like a nutritional aspect of it that people were kind of like, I mean, peanut butter is not super healthy. You only need a
little bit of jelly. It's not like you're eating just jelly with a spoon.
Just pounding jelly on.
I don't even freaking eat jelly with my peanut butter and marshmallow fluff.
No, that's good. Oh, that's good stuff.
I haven't had that in a while. Peanut butter and banana is what I go with.
Very sticky. Very almost as bad as a straight peanut butter sandwich in terms of getting it down.
Yeah.
It's good though.
It is good. But what you need to do is go to your grocery store, wherever you got Kroger, Bueller, whatever, Giant Eagle. Go get the Smucker's Mosaics. It's like strawberry, mango, They have like blackberry something, but the strawberry mango, that's some good stuff.
All right. We may have to try this then. We may end up having to make a new series of just John explaining how to make some weird shit in the kitchen and trying it out.
Probably.
That is the best jelly. Now,
All right.
one that probably everyone here knows about, but less so outside of here, apple butter.
Oh,
Elite.
I haven't had that in so long. All right,
I
but
just really want some Cinnabon from Texas Roadhouse now.
Now you
Cinnabon.
really got me hungry.
My bad.
It's all good. No, all right. So that's all the normal news we have. We brought Ryan on for a very specific reason this week. We found a website on TikTok, MVNM.com. It is essentially a way to recruit players to a given school.
It's starting with
it's essentially crowdfunding recruits. It's starting with the 2022 recruit class. So that would be people like Ryan that would be going to colleges in 2022, where you can essentially give them an amount of money to go to a certain program. So they don't get to access the money until after they're out of eligibility or have gone pro or announced retirement in college, whatever it is. Whenever they're no longer going to play college football, they can then access the money. They can't touch it until then. I know this is a question Brady had. What happens if they transfer? I did look that up. It's on their website. They actually just decline all the money if they do that. They don't suddenly go get the new
They lose their
funds.
claim on the money. Yeah.
Yes, they lose their claim. So let's say Ryan here chooses to go to Tennessee for $12,000. And he says, well, Tennessee sucks. I'm going to go to UNC. The money every Tennessee fan put in goes back to their pockets. And if there was a UNC fund, it was given back as soon as he played a game with Tennessee or announced or officially declared to go to Tennessee.
So you can't hop around teams collecting checks. Say,
yes.
I'm going to go Florida, Alabama, Ohio State.
Yeah, essentially you decline all monies by transferring once. And I did find an example, just so everyone would know. Quinn at Ewers. He's a junior. I'm not sure where he's playing at. Number one ranked QB for the 22 draft class or recruit class. He has $6,990 if he goes to Oklahoma. $6,520 if he goes to A&M, and $5,568 if he goes to Michigan State. Now, if he picks Oklahoma because of the money, and it's not a good fit, and he can't get to the pros with it, he still leaves college with $6,000 in his pocket that we know of. $6,000 that we know of. With all of the controversy surrounding us finding out about players getting paid, we're going to say $6,000 we know of. You can max out
at least.
And I did look. The largest you can donate is $1,000. So it does, I guess, stop backers from giving $20,000 for a player to go to a school.
I'm sure someone will find a way around that. Say like, hey, I'll give you $2,000 if you donate $1,000 to this kid.
Yeah, or hey, we're gonna just find workarounds. Just make 6 different accounts and give $6,000 that way. But it is something interesting. So Ryan, as somebody that could be affected by this, I don't know how much.
Are you interested?
How much would it influence your decision if it was, let's say, between going to OU and getting $2,000 or going to Ohio State and getting nothing?
Well, money is kind of a big part of it because, and especially just like, I know we're talking about this, but where the crap am I going to get the most playing time out of unless I'm like the first one in the state, because we played a guy from Streetsboro this year who's the 4th D tackle in the nation, and when we had to postpone our game until Saturday morning, he got pissed because he couldn't make the Ohio State game he had to make that day. Like, we almost moved the entire game to Saturday night just so he could make the game, his Ohio State game. Like, he's talked to Ryan today, I'm pretty sure, and did all of that. But yeah, it plays a big part of it, especially with like someone who can't just go, hey, I want like the newest iPhone and go and buy it myself. Like, I can't just do that. It plays a huge big part of it.
Yeah, that is something that definitely would come into play. But yeah, it was something that I thought you being somebody that could be directly affected by this is why I wanted to have you on for this. Even if it was, let's say, $200 to Athens, $400 to Toledo, we'll say $1,000 to Akron and no money to go to Ohio State, where would you pick?
Akron.
Just for the $1,000?
Just for the grand?
Just for the grand and the fact that Akron's not, horrible.
They
It's
are.
still
They are.
not.
Audience,
okay.
listen to me right now. As formerly an Akron student, they are that bad. I've been to the games and I was like, man, I should
they're
go
giving
home and
away
start
full
drinking.
scholarships there, and still no one's coming. They're just like, for showing up, you get entered to win a full ride scholarship.
Yeah,
No
as soon as you get accepted into the school, they're like, hey, you want to be our kicker? please do it.
Oh my God.
But again,
they have a soccer team that's really good.
Yeah,
that's what
they
matters.
do have a really good soccer team and a pretty good basketball team. But the thing is, Ryan, let's say you do pick Akron for that $1,000. You don't get that money until you are done with your college career. So whether it's you go and get your degree in athletic training, wherever you want to go into, you hurt your knee or something, you just announce retirement. It's not until then that you get that $1,000. And I think we could see, I don't know how it's going to work, because there are instances where a player could hurt their knee, hurt their shoulder, and go, I'm calling it quits. It's not worth the surgeries and the rehab, and announce retirement in their sophomore year. Let's say they recuperate over their junior year and come back their senior year. Does that mean they can double dip, or they just cheated their way out of $1,000 and got it as a college sophomore and got to keep playing without any NCAA issues?
Yeah.
But it is something that's we'll find out about in the next couple of years, hopefully.
A lot of people thought Mackenzie Milton was done. That was it. But he's starting at Florida State next year.
Yeah. Who is Tate Martell?
Tate Martell? Yep.
Yeah, who is, I don't know where he's going next year. I know he entered the transfer portal.
Again.
Yeah, again.
He's one of the ones that I thought would go around hopping, collecting checks. He was like, I'm going to go to Ohio State, collect my grand, go to Miami, collect my grand.
Yeah. Did he start at Ohio State?
Nope, never did.
So where did he start at?
He lost to Justin Field. He started at Ohio State.
Okay, because I thought there was a third school.
I think he committed to...
I think he committed to Texas Tech, decommitted. It was a Texas school. Decommitted, went to Ohio State, was back up to Haskins and JT Barrett. Then ended up being the backup to Justin Fields, and then transfers to Miami and becomes the backup to Derek King. And it's like,
Tate Martell back to Ohio State might be an
interesting idea. This man cannot catch a break.
But if you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to Google this and see if he committed somewhere.
I know it said he committed somewhere. I'm not sure. Oh, I just got a notification. J.J. Watt also might be out at Houston.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, I just got a notification from Bleach Report that he may have just played his last game in Houston.
It was Texas A&M, and before that, he committed to the University of Washington.
Okay.
And then from Texas A&M, he went to Ohio State.
So he was a transfer from A&M, or he just decommitted from A&M?
Decommitted from A&M.
This man was trying to go around schools collecting Pokemon badges. Jesus.
He really is. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up, because he was a huge deal coming out of high school.
And that's the situation that could happen with this.
If you think about where the other QBs, he was one of the stars of QB1, the TV series. And he was in that with Jake Fromm, who's already in the NFL. He was behind Justin Fields in that, who's going to the NFL this year.
Yeah, Fromm did get drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. I'm not sure by who. But he did make it to the NFL. Possibly, again, I
thought it was Detroit or something weird.
I think it's Buffalo.
Hang on.
I love that we can all bring our phones out in the show. Say, hold on.
Yeah, we're like, don't worry, we don't do our research super well before the show. Bills. We still get it. It was the Bills. All right.
It was 5th round.
All right. But yeah, let's say somebody does give a huge amount of money to Quinn Ewers, who is that number 1 QB for Ryan's recruit class. And let's say he reaches $20,000 to go to Oklahoma, and he turns into a Tate Martell. I'm not saying he transfers, but just never gets the start.
Yeah. Who's going to be the first expensive bust?
Yeah. Who's going to be a bust that ends up costing fans $20,000 to get there?
Yeah. I mean, if this thing takes off, some of these players might even get in the 50,000s.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility that you will see kids making bank off of just fans. Like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but I say right here, this kid named Ark Manning.
oh Arch,
2020. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's Cooper Manning's son.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's class of 2023. He's a QB, 6'3", 198, out of New Orleans. And freaking the amount raised for him to go to the University of Tennessee is $4,563.
Wow.
And he'd be a year behind, so he'd be coming into this as a junior next season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like
that's
there's
crazy.
There's Brawny on here too. There's
I did see Brawny.
$3,479,000.
But Brawny
for
may
him to
not
go
even
to
go to
Xavier.
college. That's the thing, because I know the NBA is talking
Yeah.
about ending the one and done thing with the NCAA.
But a lot of players are just opting to go to the G League draft, which they can do.
So somebody
And a lot of players play overseas.
Yeah. Luckily, everyone that donates that, if they don't go to your school, you get your money back. No harm, no foul. But
yeah, it's really just a win-win.
They could raise a $60,000 campaign for Brawny to go to Gonzaga. You know LeBron has a lot of say in where that kid's going to go. As much as you want to deny it, he's going to have pull. Your dad is LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
If he says, go to Duke because my best teammates have been from Duke, you're going to go to Duke. You're not going to go to Gonzaga. He's gotten to play with a ton of players and knows what schools put out good players.
Brawny is also a 16-year-old kid, though. How many times do you listen to your dad when you were 16? They said,
in this instance, I definitely think you would. In this instance, it's definitely, Dad definitely knows more than I do. He is.
I mean, you may know that, but you don't want to admit it.
Yeah. I'm not saying that you'd ever completely blindly agree, but you know that your dad has information that would be really helpful towards your career. You'd probably listen to it.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
That's all we have for our show today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to give us a like, a comment, share the post, subscribe. Anything you do helps us out tremendously. Follow the Facebook page, follow the Twitter page. All of it lets us know that you guys are tuning in every week to hear what we have to say, even though we have no expertise at all.
And we do appreciate it.
Help. Whenever you guys leave the comments, last week we did have a coworker of my dad, Chris Martin, tell us we're doing a great job on our 2-hour-long show. But just leave a comment with some of your guys' thoughts on the MVNM, your thoughts on the peanut butter to jelly ratio, things like that. We really appreciate it.
And let me know when you do try the Smucker's Mosaic. They're not paying me to say this. I do believe.
This is not sponsored. But if you do want to sponsor us, Smuckers, please do. We will accept it. We will sell our souls for a lot less than what you'd think.
A great Ohio brand, right?
Yep. But remember to tune in tomorrow for our NFL Awards show. Thank you guys for tuning in.